Witness a bountiful harvest of inspiration when we experience the beauty of gourds at the Lombardi Ranch in Saugus. And stay with us as we mingle with the upper crust of Malibu for their scrumptious pie festival on this special harvest edition of Out and About. I am surrounded by pumpkins. Where are we exactly? Tell us.
You're in Bouquet Canyon, Saugus, California.
Okay. And today we're having an event which I believe features not pumpkins but gourds.
Yes, there's dried gourds. It's a new thing that everybody is getting into for crafts, and they do incredible things with them.
I've already seen a few of those, and some of them are very artistic. Do people spend a lot of time on creating these?
Oh, some of them spend months and months, and some of them are so simple and so beautiful, and others are just really ornate and with a lot of detail.
It reminds me of Easter eggs a little bit. People spend a lot of time.
Yes, yeah, and they can, you can look at something, some people can look at something that's not very pretty and see the beauty in it and make it beautiful, and I've always admired that, and that's what these people are doing today.
What are gourds for those who don't know?
A gourd is a gourd. It's actually, and it's edible when they're very young and green and tender. But then as they grow, they get dried, and they grow on a vine, and they're usually just for decorations. The Indians used to use them to carry water, to store their sand, their colored sand and all of that, musical instruments.
So are there different types of gourds, like, raspberry or chocolate?
There are different types of gourds. There's a gourd called a canteen gourd. There's an apple gourd. The whole category is called bottle gourds, but there's all different kinds of categories, subcategories.
Well, this is an education for me because I really didn't know too much about gourds, and I had to know something about pumpkins. I knew, but gourds are what, seasonal like the pumpkins?
Well, not really. You can grow them. It takes a long time. If you plant them this year, you won't be able to do anything with them until next year. It takes a complete year for them to ripen and then to dry. So when you pick them, they're actually quite heavy. And as they sit over the season, then they'll dry and then they're usable. So it's a really, I guess you would say it's a seasonal thing.
I know your ranch is very popular for its scarecrows and its pumpkins, but these gourds are rather new in the history of things, aren't they?
Well, actually, gourds have been around for thousands of years, and people have been using them. When you couldn't go to Kmart to buy a bowl, you did with whatever nature gave you. So, but there's like a resurgence of the use of gourds in different things, and if you look down there, you'll see all the gourds that have been made into bowls and things like that. So I think the popularity is coming back.
On this particular fall weekend, the Gourd Festival attracts dozens of vendors to display their artistic wares. Some of the designs, like these fashioned to look like fruit, result in a cornucopia of textures, shapes, and colors. And those entered in the annual Gourd contest proved to be especially creative, making for some intense competition.
We have different categories. We have 3 categories: birdhouses, dolls, and boxes with lids. So they have to enter a certain category, and the complexity, the detail, the use of gourds, you know, how they used it, the originality. Those are the kinds of criteria we use.
What would be something you absolutely cannot do to the gourd that would disqualify you?
You couldn't use anything like put cloth on it or something. It has to be something, has to be natural. It has to be all, they could use beads, and although we do allow, for the birdhouses, we do allow a metal hanging or something, but on the others it all has to be natural.
It sounds like a very serious business.
It is. It's a difficult job, and my daughter and another young lady are judging them right now, and they're saying this is very hard, and it is, because they're incredible.
I looked for neatness. I like the paint had to be neat. Anything that I would like in my house, of course, got a better score, because if I thought that it was pretty and it was appealing to me, then of course I scored it a little bit higher, and that's why she has a couple different judges.
You're really evaluating on creativity too, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be creative. Yeah, but they were all so creative. There wasn't anything the same as anything else. I think they were all pretty creative.
So the originality part was kind of natural for everybody.
Yeah, it looked to be, yes. I think, well, each gourd has its own shape, and so I think it's hard, it's easy just to be creative and to be, I shouldn't say easy, because I'm sure everybody put a lot of hard work into them.
Yeah, it would be time consuming, I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure, yes. And you can see how much time people put into them. So that made it difficult to judge, to give anyone a lower score than anybody else, because of the time and the effort that was put into them.
Each gourd on display represented museum-quality pieces, ranging from the whimsical dolls with the long noses to the intricately painted birdhouses, resulting in a rich bounty of imagination and creativity.
When I first walked up, I was very overwhelmed, and because this is the first time I've done it. But then after I got used to it, I went through and I looked at them all before I judged them, and then I kind of got an idea what I was looking for.
So next year you'll come in with your gavel, and it'll be very simple for you.
Well, I hope she lets me do it next year. Oh. It'll be a lot easier next year because I'll realize what's involved.
For many families attending the weekend event, it is not their first visit to this community institution. The Lombardi Ranch is famous citywide for its huge selection of homegrown pumpkins, gourds, and other vegetables. And special holiday events like Scarecrow Alley make it a popular destination for school groups who come to relish the wholesome country experience which the ranch has to offer. Also on your ranch, I can't help but notice you've got a little petting zoo and horse and carriage, or horse and buggy, I guess.
Yeah, yes, that we've got wagon rides, and we have a little train ride, and the petting zoo with a little baby donkey, and just, it's just a lot of fun.
And I happen to know that very frequently you have something called a tomato here.
That is probably our most popular item here, is the vine-ripened tomatoes. You can't beat them.
I know people come from the city out here to buy tomatoes and go back to the city, and they don't recognize them.
No, it's like eating an apple and an orange. A tomato that's from the stores and a tomato here, they have a completely different flavor.
You've been on this ranch how many years now?
Well, I hate to say it, this is our 39th season for growing things, and our 15th year for the Scarecrow contest, and our 5th year for the Gourd Festival.
What has it been like for you all these years, living here and being among all the natural?
Well, I raised 4 kids here. They're wonderful, successful adults, every one of them. It was a great place to raise kids. My husband was born in this canyon, And I came from the city. And it was quite an adjustment for me at first, because when he brought me here, I said, "Where are you taking me?" We're out in the middle of nowhere, but now it's just, I love it. I don't think I'd want to live anywhere else.
It feels like a little secret part of Southern California.
It is. The developing is creeping up a little bit, you know, but I think for a while this little pocket here is going to be safe for a while.
The bountiful harvest continues at a flavorful festival in Malibu. Find out whose finger's in the pie as we dish up some delectable sweet confections when Out and About continues.